Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and today I want to talk about Harcourt Fenton Mudd, aka Harry Mudd, from the original series of Star Trek, which I was absolutely mind blown to find out as per watching the SDCC trailer for Star Trek Discovery is going to be a character cropping up in Discovery as portrayed by Rainn Wilson. This is somewhat gobsmacking to me, and it immediately gives me pause because from right out of the gate, if we're to look at this tonally, the sort of look, the feel, the vibe of what Star Trek Discovery seems to be based on the two trailers we've seen thus far, it seems to be somewhat dark, actiony. There doesn't seem to be very much humor or lightheartedness or especially campiness, all of the things that sort of permeate around one's recollection of the character of Harry Mudd. And that seems almost counterintuitive. It seems almost in contrast, in conflict even. And so it left me begging the question, especially as to this new incarnation of Harry Mudd. Who is Harry Mudd? Much akin to the 1989 John Candy film, Who is Harry Crumb? I'm left wondering, how exactly is this character going to fit in the grander design, the grander look and feel of Star Trek Discovery? It's one of those things where there's a lot of things you can potentially glean from the SDCC trailer, as well as the trailer that came before it, about sort of the setup of this series. It seems, if we're to focus solely on his scenes in the trailer, he's interacting with the sort of main focused command character, Michael Burnham, and there's a sense of his potentially sort of trying to barter his way out of being incarcerated, arrested right then and there. He's also trying to bluff, it's like tick tock, the clock is counting down, and soon it's going to be boom, that kind of thing. And so I don't know if he's supposed to be directly responsible for that, or if he's saying, I'd rather blow up than go to prison, that kind of thing. This is a character, going back to the original series, who was said to be, for all intents and purposes, a scoundrel, a smuggler, although I think he had his, conviction suspended on being a smuggler, but he would, transport stolen goods. He was convicted, I believe, of trying to purchase a space vehicle, a space vessel that is not actually named, with counterfeit funds, that kind of thing. And I almost had to wonder, because I went back and I actually watched, just prior to doing this video, his first appearance in the original series, Mudd's Women. And they mentioned that. I had to wonder, could this be a tip of the hat to what he's doing? Did he try to buy the USS Europa, as we see in the SDCC trailer? This is a ship that, for all intents and purposes, seems to be dead-legged. Whether it came under attack, whether it's crashing, we see this ship is damaged, and it looks like it's crashing into another ship or something like that. And it was my immediate sort of knee-jerk assumption that this is the ship he is found upon. I don't know where this will fall into the grand scheme of the episodic in nature Star Trek Discovery. I don't know what the significance of his character will be, whether he'll be a reoccurring character or not. I'm kind of leaning toward probably not. But I suspect that after we get through maybe the first few episodes, which I believe will have to do with Michael Burnham's time on the USS Shenzhou, which does seem to be an ill-fated vehicle as well, an ill-fated Starfleet ship. It seems as though it's going to come under the attack of Klingons, and it's going to be directly as a result of her going over and starting some crap with them that they misinterpret. And of course, we see in the trailer a whole bunch of Klingon vessels are encircling the Shenzhou. I would think that it probably gets destroyed, and she's later picked up and incarcerated herself, only to then be tapped, sort of a la Tom Paris by Captain Janeway at the start of Star Trek Voyager, by the captain of the Discovery, who has that new way to fly, as he says. And he asks her point blank, you were sort of the instigator of war with the Klingons. Do you want to help me stop it? And so I have to assume that it's by that point, when she's officially made a member of the crew of the Discovery, that they will encounter the dead-legged USS Europa, and she will be sent over to investigate. And this is when she'll have her encounter with Harry Mudd, for all intents and purposes, who's there to loot and pillage and all that good stuff because he wants to make a quick buck. He's probably also hauling illegal goods. We see there's an arboretum-esque room that she walks into with probably a lot of this that's not supposed to be in the Federation territory at all, or maybe he's sneaking it out of Federation territory, I don't know. But I just presumed that's what that was, based on, you know, speculations I've seen from other people talking about the trailer, that maybe that's, you know, something he was hauling. And so, you know, she calls him Mad, and he says, "I'm Mudd." You know, very, very sort of tongue-in-cheek. We get a little bit of a sense of the wackiness of the character there. But it still gives me pause. Everything that I see for Star Trek Discovery, my first reaction is being given pause and not being sure how to take it. And then I spend some time thinking about it. I view it a couple more times, and I really kind of try to apply myself and wrap my mind around it. I've talked about this before, going back to the video I put up about the book, The Art of Star Trek, and how it chronicles a lot of the earliest concept art and things that were being put into production for Star Trek Phase 2, and how it seems like Star Trek Discovery, at least at face value, has taken a lot of inspiration from those Phase 2 aspects and aesthetics. And I had said in that video, I try not to always sort of react like with that Trekker mentality, which has been rampant with everything Star Trek Discovery, of having preconceptions as to what Star Trek is supposed to be, air quotes. You know, I mean, if you look, for example, at all of the cast of actors in this series, if you completely eschew the preconceptions of what Star Trek is, air quotes, supposed to be, you should have almost no fear with all of the caliber, the gravitas of the performers that they've sidled up in this series, that they've gotten together. Now, it remains to be seen if the writing will also account for that. And then things like Sarek being involved. I believe it's been confirmed that the Michael Burnham character is somewhat of an adopted sister to Spock, kind of, much in a similar fashion to Sybok, if we go back to Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, which there's been a lot of debate, you know, about how could we not have known all this time that Spock had a sister. Well, we didn't know all that time that he had a brother either, and he never said anything about his parents till they showed up on the doorstep, you know, back in the original series. So it's a very conflictual thing. It leaves me very tentative in my apprehension as well as potential for excitement, because, as I say, here is a character. He appeared 3 times in the original series and the animated series, which was set within, of course, the original series timeline, and it seems to me at face value, again, it's counterintuitive. It doesn't seem complementary to the look, the feel, the vibe, the tone of what Star Trek Discovery at least purports itself to be in these initial trailers. But there could be so much more to it. And again, with all of the acting gravitas of all of the actors and actresses who have been signed up for this show, I mean, if the writing is even half as good as the caliber of the cast, it's got to be spectacular. If you can look beyond the new aesthetics, the new ship designs, the new uniforms, how it doesn't quite conform to the Cage era, the era just before the original series took place, there really shouldn't be anything but excitement, I would think. And so I really just kind of wanted to put that out there. One of the things I love about the character of Harry Mudd as well, he's a character based on things I've seen from other people that you can, you know, take or leave, love or hate. And I'm kind of in the middle ground. There are times where he annoys me, times where I find, much as Captain Kirk himself does in the original series, find it humorous, his charm and his conniving wit and all that stuff. But one of the novel series that I love and adore is Star Trek Vanguard, as written and created by David Mack, Dayton Ward, Kevin Dillmore, and they actually were inspired by the character of Harry Mudd to create a character called Cervantes Quinn in the Vanguard saga. And it's one of those things where every time I've read that character, I'm hearing the way, I think it's Roger Carmel played the original Harry Mudd in the original series, the way his inflections, his tonal inflections, and the way he delivered lines, and it just added that much more charm to the character on the page in the Vanguard saga. And so it's one of those things, it's synonymous with Star Trek, especially the original series. It's one of those things, he's a, memorable standout character along the lines of Khan and Tribbles and, certain of the Klingons, Koloth and Kang and all that kind of stuff. He's somebody you immediately call to mind when you think about Star Trek, the original series. And so that's why I'm always immediately sort of, tentative about accepting it. I'm very cautiously optimistic, but I'm also given to just being like, why? Why are they doing this? Why is this guy here? Is it going to be like it always was? And no, it's not, to some effect. But hopefully they will embody, Rainn Wilson will have embodied the charm and the rogueness, but not in a malicious sense, in a comedic, sort of campy sense, that the character is most well known for. And so the question that overhangs this entire video, who is Harry Mudd, remains to be seen until the series crops up itself, and we'll just have to wait and see. But fingers will definitely be tentatively crossed, cautiously, optimistically crossed, that it's going to be gangbusters. And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you think about Harry Mudd showing up in Star Trek Discovery. Do you think this is the worst thing since Burnt Toast, or are you ready and willing to check it out and curiously optimistic, as I'm trying to be, to have a look at what they're going to do with the character? Let me know in the comments, as always. And yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. If this video finds you well, live long and prosper. I'll catch you later.